It's New Year's Eve, and this is Open Mic Night of the Living Dead. And to celebrate the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026, we're going to take a look at what horror movies joined the realm of the genre in this past year.
The creature's creeping right behind you. I hope you finally find a little slice of peace and light. 'Cause it comes crashing down tonight. Welcome to the open mic. When we call your name, you'll die. But there's no need to dread. This is the open mic night of the living dead.
All right.
All right.
We did it. We survived 2025.
I mean, there's still time.
I guess. Not much.
Not much at all.
Well, we'll see what happens. We talk about horror movies here.
We do.
Did you know that?
I thought we might. I was starting to get the idea that that's what we were doing here week after week.
And who are you?
I'm Rachel.
I'm John. And we got married on Halloween one time.
We sure did.
Because we like music and horror movies. But we're not going to give you music today.
No music, just movies.
This is sort of an end-of-year review of all the horror movies that came out in 2025.
Caveat, not all, but many. You
Right.
said all, and I feel like someone's going to listen to that and say, you didn't get this one. And you're going to be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say all, not nearly all of the movies that were released in 2025, but some of the biggest, more notable horror releases. And I'll be interested, please leave us a comment or something if we've missed one of your favorites, because we like to see them all.
We do. And we haven't seen them all. And we'll mention a few here that we haven't seen, maybe. Because there's a couple that released that I think we may have missed. But we did see a lot of these.
Yeah, and I was actually impressed with how many of these we've actually seen. I've put them in chronological order. So we'll just sort of go through them. There's going to be no spoilers. And we're just going to spend a minute or two talking about each movie and whether we've seen it, whether we liked it. And we'll go from there.
That sounds great.
Do you want to get us started?
Sure. Starting us off with the January 17th, 2025 release is the movie Wolfman.
Directed by Leigh Whannell, who previously had directed The Invisible Man, which I think that was like 2018 or something. I'm not sure. Invisible Man was a fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. I also really enjoyed Wolfman. It had very mixed reviews. I think I enjoyed it more than the sort of the average review. Do you remember this movie?
I do remember this movie. I really enjoyed it. Also, Leigh Whannell, the writer of Saw, which I thought was kind of neat when I put those two things together. I liked The Invisible Man a lot as well, and I really enjoyed Wolfman. I thought Julia Garner's performance was great. Of course, that's one of at least two big horror movies she was in this year.
Yeah, and just real quickly, it's about a father who brings his family to an old family property and soon realizes there might be something out in the wilderness that could be a threat to them.
I always enjoy a horror movie take on family dynamics, and I think this film did that really well.
And it looked really good, too. I liked the cinematography.
Yeah, it looked pretty. There was some disappointment around this film because it is one in a long line of films in this particular subgenre. And so, no spoilers, but it's called Wolfman.
Yeah, I think people were expecting more of a standard werewolf type of movie, and it's not that.
Not standard at all, but really, I really liked it. What did I give this movie?
So adjust your expectations going in, I would say.
Yeah, I would say I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. So enjoyed it more than others. What's our next film on the list chronologically?
On January 24th, we saw, we didn't see it on January 24th. On January 24th, the movie Presence, directed by Steven Soderbergh, was released. And we've actually discussed this movie a couple of times because we kind of enjoyed it.
A lot. It was compelling. When you can't really look away from a movie, I found it really compelling. And it's a movie I wasn't sure I was going to like based on what I knew about it and how it began, but it was just beautifully shot again. Acting, really incredible performances, especially from Lucy Liu and a few of the other actors. Really, really great story. And from Steven Soderbergh, which I wasn't expecting.
I know. He also released the movie Black Bag this year,
right.
Which we also watched, which was more of like a political thriller, which was also good, more in the standard or more in the wheelhouse of Steven Soderbergh. This one is kind of outside of his wheelhouse, at least from what I understand. And similar to Wolfman, I feel like I enjoyed this more than the average review. This was another one that got mixed reviews. It's a haunted house movie, and that's not giving anything away, but it is far from your typical haunted house movie, and I think that's what makes it so special.
And if you're familiar with us, and you know that I don't usually like haunted house movies, and I really loved this movie. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, put that through your algorithms.
Haha, that's good. I haven't heard that. I'm going to use that. Stealing. January 31st, the movie Companion, directed by Drew Hancock, came out.
We saw this. I really liked it. I might rewatch it soon.
I really liked this movie. I thought it was unexpected. This is one of those, please don't read anything about it. Don't even read the description on whatever streaming service you watch it on. It might not be ruined, but it'll be better the less you know about it. But it does star Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher, both of whom do an incredible job. I've loved everything we've seen Jack Quaid in recently.
And it was directed by Drew Hancock. I'm not sure whether I've seen anything else by him or not. But Rachel's right. This is one that if you can avoid, even knowing what the movie, the general premise is about, you'll get even more surprises. But I certainly knew what it was about going in and liked it just as much.
Yeah, the director, Drew Hancock, has a 9-minute, looks like a Tenacious D music video from 2006. That's the only other movie that he's got on
Sweet. We saw them too.
We've seen them as well. So yeah, definitely check out Companion with as little information as possible and then come back and we'll talk about it.
February 7th brought us Heart Eyes just in time for Valentine's Day, and it is a Valentine's-related slasher, sort of in the family of kind of Scream, right? Would you say?
Yes, definitely modern slasher, referencing itself, knows what it is, but does a nice little wicked take on it.
And it's kind of like a rom-com slasher.
Right. It's a nightmare date night scenario, you might say.
It was directed by Josh Rubin, starring Olivia Holt, Mason Gooding, speaking of Scream, and Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster.
So nice to see them on screen after a few decades. And, well, they've been on screen. I just haven't seen them. It was fun. It was really fun. And Josh Rubin, I really enjoy a few shows on Dropout, formerly known as College Humor, and Josh Rubin is on there a lot. And so I was really surprised. I didn't put that together until almost the end of the movie when I realized it. But yeah, really fun. I gave it 3 stars, so not one of my favorites this year, but definitely a strong entry into the genre this year.
It was definitely entertaining, and if you're looking for a fast-paced, modern slasher, then this is a good one. I thought it could have been better, but I thought it was good for what it is. So
I said I like all the pieces, but they don't quite go together as well as they could. Sometimes I write reviews, not often, but every once in a while.
And what's next?
Next, we've got The Monkey, Osgood Perkins, who's just putting out banger after banger. I feel like this is one of them.
And this came out on February 21st and starred Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Elijah Wood, and Adam Scott.
Yeah, Adam Scott was a great addition.
And it's based on a Stephen King short story, and it also takes place in Maine, which, as you know, I hail from Maine. I was born and raised there, so that's always a nice little touch for me. But I guess that comes with the territory whenever you're dealing with a Stephen King story most of the time.
Yeah, this is not... I think one thing I heard about this movie, some people were expecting it to be a straight horror movie, and this is definitely a dark comedy, like extremely dark.
Absolutely.
Extremely dark, but this is a dark comedy. So I think depending on what your expectations were, you might have been thrown off a little bit.
And just real quickly, it's about twin brothers who discover a toy monkey with a nasty habit. When it performs, it's clashing of the, well, what in the short story, it's the clashing of the cymbals, but in this, it was like the beating of the drum. Is that?
Yes. And I heard somewhere about why. It has to do with there's some other TV show or movie that has a copyright on the clanging cymbal monkey.
Crazy.
And so I want to say Disney, but I'm not sure because they might hear me.
Oh, yeah.
And then take away our podcast.
I'm going to have to edit that so it's like, Disney, just so that they can't.
Oh, yeah. So they have a cymbal banging toy monkey in Toy Story 3. And so the monkey had to change it because Disney owns the copyright for the cymbal banging version. So that is why they had to change it to drum banging monkey.
That seems extremely challengeable for a copyright. We will get into that. But it would be an expensive lawsuit for sure when you're going up against the big guns. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it slightly more than you did, potentially.
Maybe I wasn't in the right space for it, or I wasn't expecting it. We watched it in August, so hard to say where I was that particular evening or those 2 evenings that it took us to watch it. So, but I think I wouldn't mind a rewatch. I think in the right mood.
And he also, it's not on our list.
Mm-hmm.
It just came out. He had another movie come out called Keeper.
A lot of people have been saying good things about that, and I don't know much about it.
Oh, really? The initial things I had heard were not strong, but it hadn't come out yet, so.
I think it depends who you're listening to, right? Or who is talking. So I had seen a few things in my feed, which is not necessarily professional critics or people that other people listen to. It's just the random people that I follow on social media who have similar taste to me. So it's on my viewing list for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely see it. I believe it's more of a return to sort of his style. The monkey was a bit of a departure from that in the sense of that it had more of the comedic elements. I think Keeper is supposed to be a bit more horror-y.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. But yeah, it is less highly ranked than this one. So interesting. Is it your turn or my turn?
On April 4th, the movie Hell of a Summer was released. It was directed by Little Finn Wolfhard and his buddy Billy Brick, who both also star in the movie along with Fred Hetchinger. Is it Hetchinger or Heckinger?
Hetchinger?
And Abby Quinn. This was a little bit of I don't think it made any waves. I don't think it did particularly well when it came out. This is one of those movies that I watched by myself before forcing Rachel to watch it with me, because I watched it and I thought, what really struck me is it seems like the kind of movie, and I don't know why I had this feeling when I watched it, but it seems like the kind of movie that in 20 years, it will be like a huge hit. Like some of the 80s horror movies or 90s horror movies that didn't make necessarily a big splash when they came out because they were lower budget or whatever other reasons, that the charm kind of boosts the film itself of the time. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy it now. I really thought it was a fun slasher, a good take on the slasher, very modern. I think I might have liked this a little better than you did.
I gave it 3 stars, so I liked it just fine, not a ton. But I also think the more I think about it, it's definitely, I really enjoy watching some of these Gen Z movies that have just started to come out in the last few years, as Gen Z is old enough to start making movies, because as we've mentioned, we're Xennials, right between Gen X and Millennials, elder Millennials / really young Gen Xers. So we are older. And so watching movies that are made by a generation with a different understanding, different context, I'm not going to say it makes me feel cool, but I really appreciate kind of being able to see what is important to them, what stories they have to tell, the way that they tell it. And I thought this was a great example of that in one of our favorite genres that we know probably better than most people. So it was definitely made by people who love the genre. So I love it. Also, interestingly, and I don't know if you know anything about this, but it's listed as a 2023 film, but it was released in 2025. So I don't know why the long stretch between production and release, but interesting to pay attention to.
Yes, and I'm not sure we mentioned, but it's a new take on the summer camp slasher movie with some new angles, some new twists. I definitely think it's entertaining and worth checking out. So
I liked it. And actually, I liked the lead actor's performance so much, Fred Heschinger, that I watched the movie Thelma with him, which is about him and his grandmother. So I really enjoy him as an actor, looking for more of his stuff. A week after Hell of a Summer was released, we got Drop from Christopher Landon.
And we love Christopher Landon movies.
We do. And actually, didn't Christopher Landon...
He was the director of Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day 2.
Yes, and he wrote also, dun, 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 he wrote Hard Eyes. That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
So he was the writer for Hard Eyes, which was directed by Josh Rubin. And so...
He didn't write Drop.
He didn't write Drop. He directed Drop. He also was a writer on Disturbia, which I had forgotten about. So we really like Christopher Landon, whether he's writing or directing.
And this was more of a thriller than a horror, I would say, right?
Yeah, I did not like this as much as I liked Happy Death Day or Freaky, probably.
And those movies are more campy, more straight-in-your-face fun entertainment. This was a bit more, like I said, kind of the thriller.
Yes, a thriller using modern technology. A woman is on a date and things start to go awry in a way I've never seen before. Very original use of modern technology and worth a watch for sure. Not my favorite, but glad we watched it. Worth a watch.
Well, 1 week after that, on April 18th, comes the biggest hitter probably of the year, at least in the media. We have Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld, along with many others who all did a fantastic job.
Yeah, there's a ton to say about this movie, obviously.
And we're not going to say it all today. I think some of these movies will probably make it into our top 25 of 2025, which will be our next episode. We'll talk about that a little bit before we sign out today. Or sign off, sign out.
Both?
We have a sign in, sign out sheet here. We do. It's just to keep track of our hours.
Yep. Make sure we're keeping up with the job requirements.
But if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen Sinners yet, what are you doing?
I'm kind of surprised, I have to say.
This is a rare, well, not that rare anymore, but a rare, really big film.
Huge.
Just in scope, in its cinematography, the music is so incredible.
It's kind of a musical. Miles Caton plays Sammy.
Miles Caton, I didn't write down Miles Caton. Yes, of course. I know it's Miles Caton because I was YouTubing him and looking for other performances by him. I think this was his first film, and man, what a performance from everybody. What an interesting story. It's set in 1932 Mississippi. It's about twin brothers played by Michael B. Jordan that are trying to, well, they have a bit of a criminal past, but they've come back home to create basically a venue, right? Like a club.
Yeah.
And things go awry on their opening night.
I bet we could write summaries for every single movie on this list using the word awry.
I know. I realized that I was copying you saying it from earlier, but I was going to stick with it.
I think that's okay. It's a great word. Funny story. As a young, precocious reader, I only knew the word awry written. I'd never heard anybody actually speak it aloud. So for many years, I thought the word was pronounced Ari.
That is still how I read it when I'm reading to the children. And I often get corrected by the children. For some reason, when I read it, I say that.
Is it because I've told you that story 100 times?
No, I think my brain is just broken.
You did. Well, every time I say the word awry, I have to correct myself internally because little Rachel, reading books for many years, saw the word and said, oh, Ari, because nothing tells. Anyway, every movie on this list is about something going awry.
And at the time we're recording this, Oscar nominations have not come out yet, but Sinners is a movie that probably will be nominated for Best Picture, which is rare in this genre. It's been nominated for a bunch of Golden Globe Awards, Critics' Choice Awards, both for its direction, best film, acting performances, cinematography, and sound and music. It really has everything and does everything so well. But
we could easily do a super deep dive on this movie. A lot of podcasts already have. And so, but it is really, really beautiful film, worth watching multiple times.
What is next?
April 25th, we have The Shrouds, directed by David Cronenberg, which we have not seen.
Yes, this is the first one on our list that we have not seen yet. We're big fans of David Cronenberg. I think we've missed, he has directed so many films. We've only really seen a small splash of them. And we've really seen a lot of the earlier films. But I believe this is kind of a return to some horror. I know he did a lot of other types of movies along the way. It's starring Vincent Cassel, Diane Kruger, and Guy Pearce.
Oh man, I have actually never heard of this movie.
I have, but
I am surprised, and I cannot wait to watch it just from the cast list. Obviously, the director. We love early David Cronenberg, especially. We had a period where we watched a bunch of his earlier films all in close proximity and really, really fell in love with his work. So I'm super psyched to see this movie.
Add it to the list.
Adding.
On May 9th, Clown in a Cornfield.
All right.
And this got a lot of early press, I feel like. Largely maybe on the name alone. But it was directed by Eli Craig, who directed... What's that movie called?
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Thank you. I was like...
And Little Evil.
I couldn't come up with the first name, but it stars Katie Douglas, Carson McCormick, Kevin Durand, and others. And it's another sort of contemporary slasher movie. It takes place in a small town where, what kind of company was it?
A sugar company, or it was like a corn syrup company.
A corn syrup company that has a clown mascot.
Do you say syrup or syrup?
Syrup.
I didn't know that.
Is that?
I say syrup. There's no wrong way. I'm just saying sometimes our regional differences surprise me, and I've never noticed before that you say syrup and I say syrup. We watched this movie with Joe Bob, too, after we watched it on our own.
We've seen this twice.
And then I read the book and the 2 sequels. I've read all 3 books in this series. They're really good. The books were written by a former teacher who wanted a book that his Gen Z students would be interested in reading. And so, again, this is another Gen Z take on an old trope. Very graphic, very violent. Love the heroine in this movie. Our final girl. Some fun twists. Very Gen Z, very new. But I enjoyed it a lot.
I enjoyed it. Not as much as I wanted to, I guess. Is that fair?
Yeah, it wasn't... I would not have watched it twice on purpose. Like, I think if we had watched it once, that would have been enough. And it was cool to watch it with Joe Bob because the director and the author of the book both were guests. And so learning more about it, I think, always makes a movie more interesting to me. And then, of course, reading the book afterwards and comparing the two, I think it's fun. I didn't love the movie as much as I could have. Not one of my top ones for the year, but super fun, especially if you like a slasher. Oh, next up, we've got Final Destination Bloodlines on May 16th. Beat you. Directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein. A bunch of leading cast, including Tony Todd's last performance. A bunch of leading cast that was really... I don't recognize any of them. They were all new to me. But we watched all the other Final Destination movies this year. So it was really cool to be caught up in this. And also, we tried to see this in the theaters.
Oh, yeah. That was a harrowing experience.
In one theater in particular. And the movie never started. It just kept going for maybe 25 minutes. And the movie never started. And there was a bunch of teenagers in there. It kind of felt like the beginning of a Final Destination movie, to be honest. But we did get our money back from that lovely theater manager.
They even gave us the money back for the ginormous popcorn and soda that we got.
The
candy.
concessions. So you got to sit in a theater for half an hour with some teenagers and the one dad that had gotten stuck watching them. The movie, though, by the time we eventually got to watch it, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thought it did everything most Final Destination movies either get character development or death scenes right. And this one got both of them right. We got characters that we cared about and also really cool, creative Rube Goldberg type deaths.
Yeah, I want to watch this again soon for sure. I really enjoyed it. I think it actually exceeded my expectations when I first heard they were releasing a new Final Destination movie. I was a little bit worried, but I think they did a fantastic job. They actually even put a twist on a twist, I feel like, even at the beginning. So definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it already. Again, I feel like this is one that anybody listening to this podcast has seen, but so good, so good.
Yeah, really good.
On June 20th was the much anticipated release of 28 Years Later, directed by Danny Boyle, written by the guy who writes them. Why can't I come up with it?
The guy who does all those movies that we like, you know.
Yeah.
That guy. But now you're blocked, so I'm blocked.
That's awful.
It's terrible because it's the guy that we like a lot.
And he did Civil War.
Yep, he sure did. Alex Garland.
Thank you.
I remembered it. I didn't look it up. I was going to try to look it up, but I remembered it.
I had the GAR and I was like, Garfield? No.
Different guy.
And this starred Aaron Taylor Johnson along with Jodie Comer and
Ray Fiennes.
Yeah. I knew that I was not going to say it right. Rachel would correct me because that's what happens with that guy. Sorry, Ray Fiennes. It's nothing personal. My brain, as we've discussed earlier.
Super broken.
So broken. Largely by time.
How did you like this movie, Johnny?
I'm still mixed on it.
Really? Okay. A lot of people are.
I liked it. I really liked it. Don't get me wrong. And I think I liked it more than the people who didn't like it.
Okay.
If that's helpful. I think there's like a contingency of people who didn't like it for certain reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand their reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it better than them.
Agreed.
But I'm not in the contingency of people who absolutely loved it after my first watch. And I think I try to go into these movies without expectations. And because we watch so many, I am able to do that. When you watch a bunch of movies, you're able to temper your expectations. But it definitely came from some different directions I wasn't expecting in certain parts of the movie. And trying to deal with that while watching it was a slight hindrance.
So because it diverged from your expectations so much, it distracted from your being able to enjoy the movie for what it was. Is that accurate?
Yes, because my analytical brain came into play as I was watching it, which I try to avoid.
That's fair. That's fair. So I loved this movie, and I'm in a very small minority. Sometimes I make a mistake of going on Reddit to read what other people think. And then I'm like, do I actually like this movie that much? And I do. And I think I like it for the same reason some people don't like it. And we're going to talk more about this movie, so I won't go too deeply into it. But I will say, if you want it to be a continuation of either the first or the second movie, you will be disappointed if you're expecting a direct... It is a different kind of movie that does different things, but does them, I think, really well. I liked it a lot, but you know the kind of things that I like. Character development, subverted expectations, giant towers of skulls. Like, all of these things are my favorite things. So I really liked it. I'll watch it with you again. I would love to watch all three in a row, even though they're such different movies. But yeah, 28 years later, I really loved it, but I understand that most people did not. So
the sequel, well, the second movie in this trilogy is coming out very soon.
I know. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what the direction they go with it. So I'm a big fan, but this was a divisive one this year, unlike Sinners, which was pretty much critically acclaimed and audience acclaimed.
It was really I will note that I really enjoyed the cinematography, which I've, said many a time is something that's really important to me. Not always, but but they really nailed that for sure. I mean, they nailed everything. There's no part of the movie that I can specifically point out other than some of these unexpected aspects to the story.
Right. And I heard other people's complaints. They said about the way that different things were portrayed compared to what they should be. And I get it, but I also still enjoyed the hell out of it. And I rate movies based on how they make me feel, not how I'm supposed to think, which is why I'm not a movie critic and I am instead a podcaster.
What came out on June 27th beat you?
Megan 2.0.
And we just watched this recently.
Just watched it.
It was directed by Gerard Johnstone. Did you tell me you had looked up some other things that he had done? Is that correct?
I think so. Is what correct? That's his name or that I looked him up?
That you looked him up.
Okay. Both of those things are correct.
While you're looking at that, I'll say that it starred from the original movie Allison Williams and Violet McGraw. It also starred Amy Donald, among others.
So he did Megan, of course, directed the first one, and also Housebound, which is that's the one that we were like, oh, we love that movie. That's a nice little New Zealand housebound movie, stuck in a house movie.
That was like an indie film out of New Zealand. The last time I saw it was streaming on Shudder /AMC Plus. So if you have those, Housebound is definitely worth a watch.
Right now, it looks like it's on Prime. So,
just kidding.
No, actually, it's on Tubi right now. Housebound, I just added it to my Stuck in a House list on Letterboxd. By the way, if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, chill out, Barbara. And I've got some fun lists, including Stuck in a House Horror, which has some movies. Anyway, Megan 2.0, not stuck in a house, decidedly not stuck in a house. They go all over the place in this one. I liked this. It was enjoyable. I wanted to finish it, but it's not super a horror movie.
What do you mean you wanted to finish it?
Like, because we didn't watch it at once. So, like, we split it between 2 nights.
Because we did finish it.
We did finish it. But what I'm saying is when we stopped, I was excited to get back to it the next night because I can't watch movies in one sitting.
Yes, it wasn't as much of a straightforward horror as the first movie. It's more like a action movie, but it did have plenty of horror elements to remain somewhat tied to the genre, I would say.
There's a few movies that came out this year, which makes sense because horror movies often reflect the fears that we have as a society about technology and AI and our role with technology and our relationship with tech. And so this movie just very explicitly is playing all of that out and did a really good job. Also, I do think what's his face, who I really thought was awesome. As soon as he showed up, I was super excited. Jermaine Clement is in this and does a great job. So I always enjoy his performances, but he was a lot of fun. It's a super fun romp. I would definitely suggest it. Uncanny Valley, a little uncomfortable, but I think they're leaning into that on purpose, of course.
And this is another one that had major mixed reviews. I think that expectations were not met for some viewers, especially people who were expecting something similar to the first movie. But if you just go in looking for high entertainment, bigger scope film, and just a ridiculous movie that knows it's ridiculous.
I would watch this movie on a plane. Yeah. Like, this is like a plane movie for me. So take that. On July 18th, I Know What You Did Last Summer remake came out.
Yes, and that starred Madeline Klein, Chase Sui Wonders, along with legacy stars Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt. It was directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, and it's another one of our return to nostalgia horror movies, but through the Gen Z lens. Is that fair to say?
I'd say so, with a lot of nostalgia, with like a really heavy thumb on the nostalgia scale. I really liked a lot of what they did in this movie, and I really didn't like some of what they did in this movie. And so I felt mixed about it in the end.
Yeah, and I think that's the general consensus. You even put out a short video.
I did.
Saying that.
I did.
I think I said to you, and maybe you said this in the video too, but it felt like there was a really good movie in there somewhere. Like maybe a different edit or I'm not sure what. I'm not a movie maker.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was pacing or if it was I'm not sure. It was really hard to kind of put my finger on what was going on or why it didn't quite click, but it was still super fun. And yeah, great to go back to our roots, you know?
The next big hitter came out on August 8th, Weapons by Zach Kreger, starring Josh Brolin, Julia Garner again, She's making waves this year in the horror genre. Alden Ehrenreich and Austin Abrams.
You nailed it.
How would you say that name? Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. Sorry, bud. And this probably comes in. This is often talked about when we're talking about the big movies of the year. Sinners, Weapons.
And one that you missed somehow, which we'll name next.
So this movie is about, you find out in the first couple of minutes that 17 kids from a classroom vanish in the same night, running away at the exact same time. And the rest of the movie is about the mystery surrounding that event and the investigation that ensues. And it's split up into different chapters focusing on different characters, which I thought was a really cool way to approach this story. It was really well done.
Yeah.
Of course, Zach Greger previously directed Barbarians and
Barbarian.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. And we really love that movie too, but I loved Weapons. I rewatched this after you and I watched it just to make sure I was getting the full feel of it.
Yeah, I really liked this one as well. It was really good. Hard for me to say anything bad about it. I think it hit for me. I don't think it was my favorite, but it was up there this year.
And I think you should rewatch it. The circumstances we won't get into, but
right.
It was a weird night. We got interrupted trying to watch this at a friend's house. Sorry, guys. We were sorry to have to abandon you on one rare night out. But
yeah, I should watch it from beginning to end and kind of in the right mood. But there's 37 movies that I have on that list. So I don't know when I'm going to get to it. But definitely, if you haven't seen it yet, this is a must-see for 2025 for sure. The one that we missed, and it was released in May of 25, is Bring Her Back.
Oh.
Yeah, it didn't. You must have missed it.
I must have missed it. Sorry about that. Who directed that?
The Philippou brothers.
Who did Talk to Me.
Who did Talk to Me, which is another one of which is very highly ranked on my list, and so is Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is starring Olga Miller, Sally Hawkins, a few others. It's a I would say like a folk horror, maybe elevated-ish.
Yeah, definitely. You'd probably. I really loved this movie.
I loved it so much. I liked Talk to Me, even though I hated Talk to Me, like because these guys know exactly how to raise the tension and keep it ratcheted, and they do this and Bring Her Back in an even more. Talk to Me is like a teenager movie, and Bring Her Back is a young adult, maybe adult movie with some of the most graphic scenes. You know, we've talked about elevated horror, how it builds the tension, and then when the gore happens, it's super intense. Thinking about things like Midsummer or Hereditary, Bring Her Back does this beautifully in horrible ways. So Bring Her Back is another must-see for this year, I think. Yeah. Really good. Really good.
Exceeded my expectations, and I really liked Talk to Me. I thought that they outdid themselves. We might have mentioned this before on some other episode.
I think we have, but it's worth repeating. Big fan. The next one, chronologically after Weapons, though, is one we haven't seen, and that's my fault. It's The Conjuring, Last Rites.
Well, and it is on my list. You're way behind in those movies, so...
I'm okay with that. I don't like haunted house movies very much, and I have to be in exactly the right mood, and before bed is not the best time for me to watch them.
It was directed by Michael Chavez, starring, of course, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as Ed and Lorraine Warren, and also stars Mia Tomlinson. I don't know much about this yet. I don't want to know much before going into it. I think I'm going to have to watch the Conjuring movie that came out before this, Demon at the Door, or Devil in the Devil Time USA.
That sounds right.
But I actually did a Conjuring universe watch on my own at the end of last year and watched all of them, the Conjuring movies, the Annabelle movies, and the Nun movies. I even watched La Llorona, thank you.
I haven't seen it, but that's the word.
Which is not technically canon in that universe, I guess, but it is part of the universe, so I watched it.
Nice.
But I'll be watching The Conjuring Last Rites here very, very soon.
I won't.
To complete that circle.
Maybe someday if I run out of other movies, but it disturbs me too much.
On October 3rd, we had Good Boy.
Yay.
This movie kind of came out of nowhere for us. Directed by Ben Lundberg, starring Indy. My good boy, Indy, the dog who stars in this movie. The movie, it's from the perspective of the dog. It also stars Shane Jensen, Ariel Friedman, and Larry Fessenden, a horror movie character actor who pops up in a lot of movies and several that we've watched this year.
Yeah, recently. He was in Body, right?
He only plays a small role in this, as he often does, but good to see him again. But mostly, like I mentioned, this is a horror movie, kind of a haunted house movie-ish, kind of in that genre. I don't want to give anything away, but that vibe, right, from the dog's perspective.
I yelled out loud at this movie several times. So if you, like me, have a hard time with jump scares, I do feel like it's fair to say this is a creepy movie and it will jump scare you. But
yeah, I'm not sure I've seen you have that strong a reaction to a movie, at least in a long time.
I can't remember the last time I yelled out loud at being that fright. I can't.
Think it's still in my memory. I think you went, ah!
I did. Oh, yeah. It was really freaky.
I just maxed out the microphone on that.
That's my job. Stop that. You should definitely watch this. I actually didn't rate this super highly for myself because for me, it was a movie I'm glad I watched and it was really good and they did something incredible and it's worth watching for that. But I think that the subgenre for me never will be a favorite. But I think it's a beautiful story that should be watched.
I thought it was very, very good. You should definitely check it out. It's an indie film, but they really put a lot of time and effort into it. At the very beginning, we were like, is this AI? But it is not AI.
Not at all.
Whatsoever. They just spent several years getting these scenes with their dog. So
yeah, that in and of itself is pretty cool.
Good on them. Good boy on them.
Some great movies coming out at the end of the year, or so we've heard. October 17th, we had Black Phone 2, directed by Scott Derrickson, with Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Ethan Hawke, and Demian Bashir. And this is a sequel to Black Phone.
And I've been trying to avoid any spoilers, so I haven't even read the synopsis on this because I'm interested into where they've taken this, knowing how the first one ends.
Yes.
I know that this one has a bit more of a supernatural element. Well, I shouldn't say that. The first one had plenty of a supernatural element, but it takes it sort of in a new direction. And we haven't seen it yet, but director Scott Derrickson usually knows how to spook you out. He did so starting with Sinister, and he's had some hard hitters along the way, including the first Black Phone. So yeah. I look forward to getting to see it. It's not out streaming yet, and we can't find a babysitter, so we haven't seen it.
It's true. No babysitters.
Released on the same day was Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
I know. we really tried to watch this, but again, finding time to watch something that's especially as visually, like, I want to watch this when I can really watch it and enjoy it and appreciate it. And usually we're watching movies at the end of the night and I don't have much more than an hour in me. It
stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz, all amazing actors. And this is another movie that's talked about in the sort of the awards circuit. And that's all I have to say about that. Another movie that I've heard of that we haven't seen came out on October 24th called Shelby Oaks. It's got, I think I've heard mixed reviews about it, but the people who really like it made their voices heard. It's directed by Chris Stuckman and starring Camille Sullivan, Brendan Sexton III, Michael Beach, Sarah Dern, among others. I don't know much about this, and like I said before, I'm trying to avoid knowing much about any of these movies other than I want to watch them. And this is definitely on my list of movies from this year that I have not seen yet but would like to see soon.
Keith David is also in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so there's another point for seeing it. It is it has some found footage stuff, and maybe I'm not a found footage fan either.
That was
so.
the impression that I got from like some of the stills I saw online,
Me too.
but I even skipped over the trailers and everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Five Nights at Freddy's came out just a few weeks ago. Director Emma Tammy with leading cast Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lillard, Piper Rubio, Elizabeth Lale. We haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's, the first one.
Yeah, I'm not sure you said 2, but this is...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We have not seen the original Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't played the video game, but I really like Josh Hutcherson, so maybe someday we'll watch it. He's got a huge... I didn't realize he had been in so many movies.
Yeah, he's in everything.
He's in so many things, but what I always will love him in the most is Future Man, the show that we watched years ago, where he's Future Man.
With Keith David.
So there brings it all around. So yeah, would love to, if we absolutely need to put these movies up higher on our to-watch list, let us know. But otherwise, they'll just be on the list. And do you want to take the last one?
Yeah, and there's one more I might have missed that I'm trying to look up. Why don't you go with this last one and I'll see if I can figure it out.
Sure. This came out just a week ago on Christmas Day, but the Anaconda reboot came out this year with Paul Rudd, Jack Black, Thandie Newton, Steve Zahn. I mean, that cast alone is just dripping with nostalgia. This is directed by Tom Gormican, who I'm not familiar with. Yeah, because he hasn't done anything I've seen before. I mean, Paul Rudd and Jack Black, let's go.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something that might get me a lot of backlash, but I haven't seen the original Anaconda.
Oh, wow.
With J-Lo. So.
I saw it when it came out, but I haven't seen it since then. So
it's possible I might have seen it, but I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, man.
This sounds like a fun romp, though.
Yeah, and Ice Cube, J-Lo, Steve Zahn. I haven't seen Steve Zahn in anything for a while. This looks really fun. This looks like something I would enjoy watching some night when I don't have the capacity for Frankenstein.
This definitely sounds like a Christmas Day release.
Yes.
The movie I was thinking of, it was released in October 2025, another found footage movie. The trailers I've seen looks like it is not your kind of movie.
Great.
But it's called Dream Eater. It was super indie, but it's distributed by Eli Roth's new The Horror Section company. I've tried to avoid any spoilers with it. I follow Eli Roth online just to see what's up. He certainly promoted it a lot, understandably, but it sounds like it's pretty scary. So I'm interested to check that out. I might have to make you watch it if it's good.
Okay, fine, but like daytime or something. I don't know. Whatever. I can do it. I'm brave. It makes me stronger. It makes me stronger to do things that scare me. It's been a heck of a year for horror movies, dear.
It really has. We are lucky to enjoy this genre and at the time that we're enjoying it right now, because there have been a lot of offerings, and I would imagine that there's more to come in 2026 because it seems like the genre has been quite successful.
I wonder why as the world burns around us.
Yeah, seriously. But next episode, we'll be joining you again with our top 25 of 2025. And that's a look at Rachel's going to give a list of 13 movies. I'm going to give a list of 12 movies. There might be some overlap, so it might not really be 25 movies.
Right.
And their movies aren't actually all from 2025, though
No.
I can tell you that I have some on my list that are.
Me too. We're going to talk about some of the movies we talked about today as well. But this is the ones that we liked, the ones that we did not do deep dives on, right?
Right.
And ones that we watched together. So it can't be movies that we watch separately. Oh, and not movies that we've seen before. So no rewatches, unless it's been a really, really long time.
Or if it was like, I watched it and then I was like, Rachel has to see this. And then we watched it again.
Yes.
On that basis.
Yeah, but nothing that we watched like last year and this year because it's super fun.
That's why none of the deep dives we've done are included in this list, because they're movies we've seen many times before.
Right. But we will, look forward to that next week. This fun little holiday hiatus.
And find us on social media at OMNLD Pod, wherever you get your socials, and or send us an email at omnldpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, and if you can, like and comment on your podcast listening place of choice.
like I said, we don't have music for you today, but I would like to take a quick look back at our year doing this podcast. And to celebrate that, I thought we would end the show with a few bloopers, because things don't always go as wonderfully smoothly as
it sounds.
I've got quite a few, probably not going to play them all, but I'm going to end with this, but we're just going to go straight out, I think.
You sneaky little guy. I didn't know you were doing this.
And I think it's going to start with Rachel having some trouble starting off the show. But I've definitely had that issue, and there's some other interesting things that have happened that I have not kept in the edit. So,
guys, I just want you to know I don't know what's about to happen in your ears, and I blame him.
And if she swears, that's on her.
God damn it.
But anyway, it's been an amazing year, at least for this podcast and for us. And we are glad we've been able to share that with you.
Yeah.
So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Yes, I am.
You might as well just be a teacher of a class of kids who disappear in the middle of the night, who says, see you next year, right before Christmas break. Except you only have one kid left in your class, but then you're anyway.
I would make different choices than she did, but we'll talk about it later. All right, see ya.
Bye.
Today, on this episode of Open Mic of the Living Dead. Nope, sorry. I wasn't ready. Today, on this episode of Open Mic Night. Oh, no. Okay. Stop. Okay. I can't do it. I can. I'm getting silly. Okay. Today, on this episode of Open Mic Night of the Living Dead.
Very good. This is going perfectly.
We're talking about 1981's The Evil Dead. Okay, sorry. Fuck. It's like one of those loops. I'm not sure I can do it right now. Just kidding.
Hey, everybody. You can't laugh if I'm going to do it. That's not fair.
Okay, sorry. Okay, everything's fine.
I'm not turning it off. I'm just changing this.
Okay, good. We'll have a bloopers reel someday.
It's all going to be you fucking up the intro.
I don't know why the intro is so much pressure. It just feels like a lot of pressure.
Do you want to try again?
Yes.
On this episode of Open Mic Night, what is our show called? Open Mic Night of the Living Dead. All right. Hey, good. We'll have some of this to mix with your intros.
Great.
On this episode, all right. Psh.
It's not so easy, is it?
Shut. I need to go.
Okay.
And it's at that in the. But then, film.
Yup.
All right, let's head into the studio demo section. All right.
Stop.
All right, let's head in. All right, let's head into the studio recording section of the podcast and hear the
Let's head into the studio recording.
Oh yeah, you're gonna fix it. That always works out.
You can run. Fuck. One light. Fuck that.
That's you.
Oh, come on.
This is a perfect time for me to tell you stories from my childhood. When I was a child, it was the 80s. And I lived in a neighborhood not unlike the neighborhood in which Charlie Dandridge lives. I was not allowed to cross the street. That is true, until I was about 12 years old, when I had adult supervision. Unless I had adult supervision. And then when I was about 12, I was allowed to cross the street. But this meant I had, if you can imagine, a block. And the long side of the block on which I lived had a sidewalk on our side of the street, which was good because I could ride my bicycle and do my rollerblading. And sometimes I would dribble a basketball up and down to practice my ball handling skills. And there was also a sidewalk along the shorter end of the block on one side, but the other two sides did not have a sidewalk. So I could not go all the way around the block. I could go up to the end of my street and then down and around the corner to the end of the short side of the block. And that as far as I could wander. But when I became 12 years old, oh my, you should look out. It was probably like 10, really. 10 to 12. Because there were times I was allowed to go to the park that you could see from one of the windows in my house. You could see the neighborhood park. And that's where the vampires probably watched us children. Oh, it looks like Rachel's back with the dog. Just give him a piece of one of those treats. There should be a little bit left from earlier. Or break a new piece. Little piece from the little piece. I was just telling them about my childhood. And Rachel's back. I think I prefer talking like this.
Oh, good.
It brings more je ne sais quoi to the program.
Je ne sais something. I'm all done with that part. All done. That's what I'm saying. All done.